the Rant of the Machines.
Yeah, Rant of the Machines.
Yeah. So
the other day I was on Facebook and I saw this post or what advertisement, whatever it is, making fun of an American news anchor, Tucker Carlson of Fox News, because apparently he promoted tanning your testicles. And ooh, that's homosexual. See, Tucker Carlson's actually gay. Ooh, the conservative guy is secretly gay. And no, it has nothing to do with being homosexual. It's healthy. And apparently he made this documentary about masculinity. And in the trailer for it, there's like guys wrestling, guys shooting, guys chopping things with an axe. And in my opinion, a little bit distasteful, but not homosexual at all. There's also a guy standing with some sort of like machine that tans his balls.
I see.
I probably wouldn't have put that in like the opening trailer, and especially because he puts like the space music as if it's like working our way up to this great thing, and then the guy is standing there. Like, I don't know. I don't see tanning your balls as like the epitome of the most important masculine thing.
Oh, you're making Illuminati symbols. You're giving out to everyone.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right. Anyway, now you're going to be spotted by the Illuminati and they'll send someone to make you join their group. But first, you gotta get, let's say, 200,000-300,000 subscribers and you'll be off. Then you just have to sell your soul and that's all.
I've heard some funny stories also. Like some people say that they wake up in the middle of the night and dress up as Nazis, and then they meet and they have gay orgies, and then the next morning they don't remember any of it.
So how are they telling the story?
I don't know, maybe someone was spying on somebody and saw them go to this special pretend to be a Nazi gay orgy thing. And
Nazi gay orgies. Okay.
yes, they say that they dress up with Nazi uniforms and that they go and have gay orgies.
They have to be gay orgies. They can't be just normal Nazi orgies. Okay. What's the time of the podcast? Like, what is the time of the video? Which minute we are?
I don't even know where I could see that.
Anyway, we're at before the 10th minute and we're already speaking about gay orgies. Nazi gay orgies.
We're about 10 minutes in.
Yeah, so
but yeah, that Tucker Carlson documentary, it's on a good topic. The decline of men, or like the end of men, or the end of men, I think. And there's nothing gay about any of that stuff. The only, like, for example, wrestling. There's nothing gay about guys wrestling with each other. Have you ever seen a guy get a hard-on while wrestling?
Well, what if you are grappling with girls?
That's an interesting situation because it's more like you're working on getting them in the position.
Yeah, position, which makes me think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is actually the perfect martial art for rapists. But I wouldn't give that advice. Whoops, already did. Anyway.
I mean, I think that could be like a fun, sexy sport to do with a girl. I mean, you do it in the bedroom and no one else around. And
yeah, I guess she'll have some fetish for choking out. Like, anyway, we're getting too dirty. The point is, I think that some people are hired to be a fake opposition, to be someone who is pretending to give the men the right advice. Someone who is so commercial and already so popular that they have a base of subscribers, and there are already people who are going to listen to them no matter what happens. So this is how you make something not that acceptable. You make the pedo position. I'm not saying Tucker Carlson is for sure pedo position, but if
But
I
what?
wanted to make something not understood good, like or not taken the right way, I would have put exactly the same thing. Like you first put wrestling, some other manly stuff, and then tanning your balls because that would make it kind of like a social stigma because it's kind of cringy. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
nothing gay, but it's kind of cringy.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like we're both into like working out, fighting sports, masculine stuff, but it's just weird to put the scene it's not even like tanning on the beach with natural sunlight. There's a guy standing in front of this machine that does like red light or something. And then the music, it's just kind of weird. Like everything else is great. And then it has to be kind of ruined with this one space music ball tanning scene.
Yeah, star balls. Anyway, I don't think that even if the guy was on the beach with spread legs, that would be, much better. But anyway, I have nothing against solariums or any tanning
Yeah, I
devices.
lay out naked in my backyard back home in California when no one's home. So I think it's good and
Yeah.
healthy.
Um, what make one interesting thing that is when you go to a solarium, you shouldn't actually expose your private parts to the solarium. So why is someone making a machine specifically for tanning balls?
I don't know. I wouldn't really want to expose them to that synthetic light.
It's nothing wrong with the light. The point is, if all the people going to solariums were keeping underwear on just because you can't show your private parts to the solarium, what's the science behind this now? Like, how did the science change that from exposing your balls to UV light or any other types of radiation is bad and now it's good all of a sudden?
Well, it's all about the amount. It's just like drinking water is bad if you drink a lot of it, but drinking water is good if you drink the right amount of it.
I would say most people drink too little, but they also drink too low amount of minerals. So
Also, something I want to say about how people critique him as being like homoerotic. So there's this interesting phenomena where only the gay guys accuse the straight guys of their stuff being gay. So straight guys don't like we can go wrestle with each other, we can go to the gym without our shirts. And when you're straight, you're never thinking, oh, there's a sexy guy over there. It doesn't in your mind. But the gay guys, yes, that's what they think.
there's a sexy guy over there. Yeah,
And
I
I'm
see.
too nice. I talk to people and like on social, I mean, I've talked to them in person when they talk to me, but especially on social media, they message me and I'm stupid and I message them back to be nice. And sometimes they're trying to convince me that, oh, you're just pretending not to be gay. Like you realize that they're sexy too. And I'm like, no, I don't. Are you attracted to a dog? And they go, no, but a dog's not a person. I go, just like you see a nice looking dog, I see a nice looking guy. And there's no sexual connection, just like you don't want to fuck the dog. I mean,
I
of course, you
see.
can see a guy's in good shape, a dog is in good shape. You're not attracted sexually to either of them.
No. So where do we put in this equation zoophilia?
Those people need to go to special places.
Yeah, like zoos. Anyway, again, let's not go this way with zoophilia and gay Nazi orgies. Uh, about Tucker Carlson. It's very strange. I mean, I'm listening. I'm watching him sometimes. Of course, I know who he is. Many messages I've heard from him that made sense, but he is working at Fox News. Like, come on, guys! Like, you can't expect people that actually, believe those stuff and actually think those stuff to be still working for Fox News or any media outlet. It's strange. It's almost naive to think that he would be still on work if he wasn't doing what they wanted him to do.
Yeah, you do need to create fake opposition.
Yeah. So
It's hard to know. Perhaps at heart, he's a good guy and he also has to do some stuff for them. I don't know.
it doesn't fit for me.
We
He
don't really
looks
have
very
free media, so you know that there's likely something going on.
well. I am actually watching several channels that, like, Darren J. Moore is one of the channels, and he is explaining really good what's happening with the first time I heard about the Great Reset was from his video about Klaus Schwab. So I can recommend, if anyone at all is listening
Does
now.
he
I
happen to
mean,
be a Norwegian guy?
I have no idea, but he has excellent English. I can't
Oh, okay.
see any or hear any
Yeah, I don't know
accent,
the
so I
name,
can tell
so
you.
I've probably never seen him.
Yeah, he's also explaining about Bitcoin and what is happening with the laws in the different countries. How some countries want to put, regulations around Bitcoin because that's not what they want right now. Like,
I'm surprised when people think Bitcoin's going to be like the next US dollar. It's never going to be the next US dollar because the United States won't let it be. Russia won't let it be. China won't let it. No one's going to let something they don't control be the world currency. And if it does become the next US dollar, it will be controlled by somebody and it won't be the Bitcoin like today.
the second suggestion is the right one because the first one I can explain why is not true. Like, the dollar already, too many people know that the dollar has no value anymore, like from some years. About Bitcoin, I think, not I think, I know that because it's been shown in the news that Putin is actually using Bitcoin to sell gas. So it's not actually not going to happen, but just because it's going to happen, it's going to be the next maybe or very important currency. Just because of that fact, I don't believe that it's free and it's made to be decentralized and truly not be controlled because the people who actually control all this, like everything, they're never going to let something like this slip under their fingers.
Of
Like,
course, they control the world. They don't let people just have freedom and stuff.
yeah, if that's the point. When you have that much resources and just some random guy in Denmark is thinking about this option, I mean, they have already thought about this. It's not like I'm the one, who is seeing everything around it.
Plus, they can make it like so where you need to show your ID and stuff to even use Bitcoin. And then
Yep.
they can regulate it just like anything else. Tax you on it, watch your transaction and go, oh, looks like you have some money you shouldn't have.
Uh, The point is, I'm not telling people not to invest in Bitcoin. I
I'm not
am
even,
telling people to invest in it, but doesn't matter if it's going to be it doesn't matter if the Bitcoin came natural with some guy that doesn't want to say who he is made it, or it is, like helped by the world leaders to look like it's a free decentralized, it's a decentralized uh
yeah, the
currency.
bottom line is it's not our freedom.
Yes, the bottom line is that it doesn't matter if it's naturally made or someone has sponsored the making and is just making it look like Bitcoin is the people, the people's money. It's good to invest in Bitcoin because the whole narrative is going there. It doesn't matter if I think I got you confused. Do you have any questions?
No, you didn't get me confused. Like I agree that it's a big thing, it's a good investment, but one way or another, it's not going to lead to increased freedom.
No.
But you know
And
what
one
might
thing,
is
what?
if Elon Musk actually takes over Twitter and actually lets people post whatever and doesn't censor anything, that could really change things because speech, people discount speech, but speech is not just speech. We think in words. When you allow free speech, you completely change how people think. And when people change how they think and how they're able to communicate with other people, things change.
One thing I don't understand with Bitcoin is I know that for a fact when Bitcoin is being transferred between people, where it has been is written on the Bitcoin itself. I don't understand how this is not trackable if it is written on it where it's been.
I'm no expert on this, but I always thought the idea was that you anonymously create your Bitcoin wallet. So if they require you to use identification to create that wallet, it's no longer anonymous. But if you can create it with no ID using VPN and all sorts of stuff, then it doesn't matter if they trace where it's been because they don't know who that is.
Yeah,
But I
but
don't know,
now,
maybe there's something else.
anyway, I'm not the specialist on Bitcoin. Uh, about Tucker Carlson, I think we should actually show people what is masculine. Like, I don't know what was on his on the video. Like, there were people wrestling, there were people tanning balls. What other type of people were there?
So there was the wrestling, then there was like a guy shooting, there was a guy with an axe, there was a guy going in cold water. Um, I don't know, maybe there was a guy running. I'm not sure, but it showed good stuff. And even if you discount the guy tanning his balls, you would still have these other people saying that it's homoerotic. And the irony is, it's only the gay people that say that because straight people don't think of that as a sexual thing. You know what's really interesting is the only time I've seen a male get an erection while wrestling. Can you make any guesses?
No.
So it's something you wouldn't guess, but ironically, it was someone with a mental handicap. Now, take it as you will, but yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen a guy get an erection because he was retarded. So there's stuff wrong with his head. Normal guys don't get erections while they're wrestling. Gay guys might, retarded guys might, normal guys don't.
Hey yo, I'm just thinking about the situation. Like some guy looking like
Yeah.
just, just
In my high
he's
school,
looking
there
at
were
you
two
with that
retarded kids who were on the wrestling team.
like nothing. I have nothing against retarded
I don't
people,
either.
but but the retarded look on the face with the erection, now that's proper thriller movie material, man. That's
It was
that's a really
funny.
that's really thriller movie material. If I see that, I would be frightened.
But a lot of times the people with the mental retardation, I don't know if it's because they don't limit their muscle activation or something, but they're often pretty strong.
Well, we may just say that from a gaming standpoint, they put all their points on strength and zero on you know
Yeah.
intelligence. So now that's what they chose. That's what they got.
And coming back to this criticism of masculinity, uh, I guess there's not a whole lot more to say, but masculine stuff, there's no sexual aspect to it. It's only homosexuals who insert that. It's just not sexual. Bodybuilding,
Uh,
not sexual. Wrestling, not sexual. Uh, Whatever, not sexual.
like I bet that even a gay guy wouldn't look at Ronnie Coleman and say that's sexy.
Probably not, but I don't know. I'm not gay.
Nah, I bet that when he looks at his glutes, he's like, "What the fuck is that
Probably.
motherfucker? Like,
It doesn't even look
why?
like a human.
What the like? Why? This is not even nice to touch or to look at. What the fuck? Anyway, I want to ask you something else. What do you think of Elliot Hulse?
Never heard of him, but I can type his name in my phone.
Ooh, never heard of Elliot Hulse. Anyway, he's
Helsing?
Hulse. Elliot.
Hels?
Elliot.
Oh, Halls.
Well, my crazy accent.
I don't know. Maybe I typed in the wrong person because I'm not getting any results. I mean, this is what my phone's showing me, and that certainly isn't a person.
Nah, that's not person. Anyway, Elliot Hulse is a strength trainer. He started as a strength trainer, then he became a YouTuber, which his strength training is really good. I mean, he doesn't have anything like I have nothing bad to say about his strength training, but he married his high school love, and this is very rare because I haven't seen people marrying their high school love and just continuing together, and they are together. But when he was a YouTuber with a strength camp, I was okay with him, no problem. He became a spiritual type of masculinity leader. I'm fine, no problem. But when he started talking about dating and how you should act with women, then I have a problem with him.
Now, what was wrong with that?
Well, first of all, I don't want to be very brutal, but his wife isn't the best looking. I mean, she's healthy. She's obviously very feminine, She's a good person, but I wouldn't say it's a five,
What's
you know.
interesting is when I was in Budapest with my dad when I was 19 years old 5 years ago. Well, first this we sat down at this table at a restaurant. First, the guy kicked us out because we didn't buy anything. We just wanted to relax. But we came back and we ordered some beer and some goulash, and we ended up talking with the owner. We got along well, and he actually ended up giving me two of his books. And in one of his books, he gave them to me for free. Like that's what giving is. You don't it's buying if you pay for it. But in the book, he says how he thought that it's extremely important to be physically attracted to your wife, and that that's like the basis of the relationship. And I always remembered that because it does make sense. Like, if you're not physically attracted, how are you going to have an ideal relationship? Now, of course, personality is extremely, insanely important. But yeah, you got to have an attractive wife.
Well, I think that personality, the lack of personality can be almost as
It can get worse.
despicable,
Personality is number one.
almost as despicable as a girl who isn't pretty. I mean, let's say from 0 to 10, if we have a 5 girl, which is one after the one that Elliot Hulse has.
Not too good.
Yeah, anyway, if we have a 5 as a girl and she has personality, like she understands humor, like sarcasm and other stuff
And you get
like this.
along well.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually putting her around 7, you know.
Yeah,
It may
it's
put her around
incredibly
7,
important.
but if she is a 7 and she has no personality and she is a manipulative, obsessive person, that puts her at 4.
Yeah, you just gotta get rid of them. Don't want them around you.
Yeah. So my point about Elliot Hulse was that not only that he didn't cheat on his wife and he is, married to with her. I suppose his first time was with her. Then how is someone who has only one, like one girl in is going to teach anyone about what women want? He only knows what one woman wants. He doesn't know what all women want.
Yeah, you like I'm pretty similar. I've only been with one girl, and I don't know what all girls want, but one thing I can say is you learn how to, I mean, who knows, maybe you can actually just have a bad relationship, then you stay together. Maybe there's some other possibilities, but chances are you figured out how to make a relationship work. Because I don't know, maybe there's people that can just naturally be perfect together. But I believe even people that are pretty good together, like my wife and I, we're pretty good together. But if we did not constantly work on things along the way, we would not be together right now. Like, especially the first couple of years of our relationship was a lot of work. Like, none of my friends understood, but I was working like every single day on my relationship. Like, it was actual work. It was like a job. It took up a ton of time, a ton of energy, and we worked on a lot of stuff.
Okay. So we're switching to from Rant for Tucker Carlson to relationship advice. Now we're ranting about what?
I'm not sure, but I remembered something very important, that basically there's people out there that are trying to convince people that they're gay. Now, this is well known nowadays. Like, you got these teachers trying to convince little kids that they're transgender, but people do it with masculine men also. Like, we were talking about people calling it homoerotic to like chop wood or wrestle. These people prey on people who are not so sure about things in their head, especially young people, and they try to convince them that they're gay. It's not good. It's very evil. Oh, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about right now.
So if imagine if when you were in school, the teacher was constantly asking you if you want to. Oh, cheers.
Very good
Cheers.
beer. Check Budweiser, but I'm listening.
So Imagine if the teacher in school was constantly asking you, uh, do you think you like chocolate?
Do I like what?
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Like constantly, like like every day. Don't you think that you would eat more chocolate
Probably if they're just talking about chocolate constantly and glorifying it and everything.
and making parades about chocolate and teaching little boys about chocolate?
That would
Obviously,
even make it more general, I think, which could be better. Glorifying sugar junk food and making it into like a religion of eating sugary junk.
if my thought is, if I get my hands on chocolate, I'm eating it. So, what was the purpose of my parents introducing something that would only harm me to myself?
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So, my point is, if I didn't knew there was chocolate until certain age, I mean, the later the later you know chocolate exists, I think the better is. Because if you can manage and be thankful on just the normal stuff that you need to eat, what's the point of introducing chocolate?
And now imagine if on top of all that, they start telling you, but it's healthy also to eat all this chocolate and candy. It's not unhealthy, and anybody who says that is wrong and hateful. You can eat all the chocolate and candy you want, and you're going to be great and healthy. You're going to live a long time. You'll feel great, and it's the best thing you can do.
Sounds very similar, like 1 cup of wine a day won't hurt you, huh?
Mhm. It's an excuse alcoholics use.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can be whatever they want. Is just my point is that they have to be straight with each other and understand what they're doing.
You know what's the issue
That's
with
all.
people is so yeah, I'm straight with myself. Alcohol's not healthy. I like it. I drink it. I drink not very much of it, but people have a tendency to try to get other people to do what they're doing. Alcoholics will often try to get other people to drink alcohol. Drug addicts try to get other people to use drugs. Homosexuals try to get other people to be homosexual.
Obviously, they have a reason why. So,
Well, they also want to do that with
yeah,
them.
exactly.
Like all the guys
Anyway,
trying to convince me that I'm gay, it's because they want to do stuff.
if I just blow you once, maybe you could reconsider.
They told me that, like, oh, maybe if you tried it, you'd actually realize you like it.
You'll see I'm better than her. You will see I'm better than her. I know what a guy wants. She has no idea what having a dick feels like. And you're absolutely racist and misogynist if you don't let me blow you, right?
And you know what's amazing is one time I told one of these guys, dude, I've got nothing against gay people, but it's not normal. You were born with a chemical imbalance, probably while you were in the womb, which screwed up your brain development, or as you were growing up, you were exposed to things that screwed you up. And it's not how you're meant to be. This guy literally went off on me saying, God created all of us gay, and you are
Ah,
just hateful, and God doesn't like you because you're. Who could have come up with that? That's just insanity. I'm gonna look for that message. I'll be able to find it.
yo, can you imagine? Like God is thinking, how would I make those guys reproduce? Make them gay. Everyone, literally.
It's the epitome of being mentally screwed up. Imagine if you saw a dog trying to fuck like a male dog trying to fuck another male dog to have babies. You'd go, what the hell, is it retarded? It should be fucking a girl to have babies. It thinks it's gonna make babies with another boy. It's not gonna work.
If you wanna hear something interesting, I heard I saw something in internet that I don't know if it's true, but apparently about the XY chromosomes. Now we're going to the scientific part of our rant because we're not only meatheads here. My guy here is studying in a medical school, and
And
I
I have a
am a
degree
great.
in biochemistry and molecular biology. Studied chemistry and biology for 5 years each at university. Studied on my own for 10 years. He's researched a lot into it too.
I'm just a crazy guy that studies for knowledge itself. Boom!
Hey, that's why I
Not
do
for a
it.
degree, not for a degree, not for glory, but for knowledge. How crazy is that, right? I
I
just
only
want to
got
know
my
stuff.
degree. I only got my degree in it because it's already what I like and want to learn about.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I just can't go with the restraints that of us, like university is putting on me. I really need a freer regime in order to be able to remember stuff.
The online school was great because you could do whatever when it was asynchronous, you do whatever you want during the day, and at nighttime you sit on your couch, you connect your computer to the TV, and you watch it on TV at your own pace and just relax and enjoy it. Because really, if you like science, and if you can watch the lectures when you're like awake, relaxed, and in a good mood, you enjoy them. But when you got to wake up at 6 in the morning, get to class, sit in an uncomfortable wooden chair, and sit there when you don't want to be there, you're not going to enjoy it. And then you got to do your homework assignments.
Plus, most of the girls are going there just to show which is the prettiest. Like it's just like going to church. Everyone is comparing their clothing with each other. You know
So what were
who
you going to
put
say
better
about the
clothes.
science stuff?
So X and Y chromosomes. Apparently, there is some percentage of men who have XX chromosomes, and there is some percentage of women who have XY chromosomes. And this is kind of strange because I've seen concepts about a third gender in sci-fi movies, and my issue is okay, what is the part of the third gender? If anyone can show me what's the place of the third gender, I would, maybe consider it. But since there is no place for a third gender in a reproduction, setting, I don't see what's the point.
So I
But
do
then,
believe that those people exist, that they're an extremely small percentage of the population, and that it's not meant to be that way. It's a genetic defect. The problem is nowadays, people who don't have that genetic defect, which actually genetically screws up their gender, which is only like, who knows, 0.01% of the population, or I mean, probably 0.0001% of the population. But nowadays, you've got an insane amount of people trying to say that they are that way when there's no biological basis for it, just mental disorder. But I do believe those people exist because if you can come up with any sort of problem the human body can have, there's people that exist that have that problem. But it's a defect, it's not intentional.
I just took the advantage of using Google and I am just going to read this out loud. Typically, the appearance of XX males differs from that of an XY male in that they are smaller in height and weight, and most XX chromosome males have small testes and have an increase in Maldecent, maldec, what? Maldecent testicles compared to XY males. Many are sterile. So it looks like, just like you're saying, that XX chromosome males are damaged
Yeah.
males. It looks like it, but because it's constantly present in the population, I, as a scientist, cannot disregard it. So
But
there
if
is,
say cancer is constantly present, do you think we're supposed to have cancer?
well, cancer is just damaged tissue that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah, but it's perhaps not the best example, but just because there's a problem that's constantly present doesn't mean that it's a good intent. Like there are problems that just never get deleted from.
Never get solved.
So
They're constantly present.
the issue is if it arises not from. So if you have two healthy people that are never going to be acted against by natural selection, who are healthy and they can go and reproduce, and then after that point, there is a certain issue that can happen which screws up their child, you cannot prevent that from happening because you can't get rid of all the healthy people. The issue is not that the parents had genetic issues. I mean, it might be, but it's more likely that you have two healthy people, and after they've combined themselves, an issue arises in their offspring. Now, if the issue was that these offspring could reproduce and keep reproducing, that's a completely different mechanism of keeping it persisting in the population. But if something arises from two healthy people, you can't get rid of it.
Okay, well, okay, so
So I don't know what.
genetically, let's say genetically, we know that some people are getting the genes of the other. Let's say my mother and my father still have hair, and I don't. I started losing hair before I ever used anything, that made me not natural. So it's mostly genetic. They tell me, my mother and father tell me that this is one of my uncles was bald, and genes are just transferred from not from them. There, I basically have some of his genes without him making me.
Your parents had the genes, they just didn't happen to be active or active enough in your parents.
Okay, so something in the environment around me made the gene active. Okay, I see now.
Or when your
So
parents combined, the combination happened to be ideal for hair loss.
now, listen now. I think that epigenetics is actually the future of science,
I
and that
agree.
you can have a gene switched on or off. You don't have it. Um, it doesn't switch itself on or off. You do by
Hey,
the environment you
I
put yourself
inject
in.
epitalon to keep my genes open and active. I'm already a big proponent of epigenetics.
Epi what?
Epitalon, it's a peptide which has been shown to, so your DNA can get like raveled around these things called histones and it becomes inactive. As you get older, more and more of your DNA becomes inactive. Now, your DNA is supposed to be active, producing everything you need to be young and healthy. As it gets turned off, you start developing problems because your body is not making what it should be making. So perhaps I'm too young to benefit from it, but I inject epitalon for that reason and because it lengthens the telomeres, which shorten each time your cells divide.
Yeah, I see. I know about the correlation between longer telomeres and longer life. I've heard that.
And in medical studies, it's been shown to extend life and to greatly decrease all age-related illnesses.
Okay.
So epigenetics
I've heard,
is that someday we'll be able to really keep all the important genes in the body turned on, like when you're young.
I've heard from Joe Rogan's podcast that if you're going regularly, like 4 or 5 times to sauna in the week, that because of the heat shock proteins that are produced by as a response from the sauna, you're getting a 50% reduce of all causes of mortality.
Interesting. I'll have to look into it.
Heat shock proteins are something interesting. You should look at it.
I know in general about heat shock proteins, but I need to look into how significant they impact your health when you elevate them constantly.
Yeah, I don't feel like going five times in the week to a sauna, but if it helps that much, why not?
But the way of the future will be, you could perhaps even take a pill. Now, pills have some issues. So let's just say you take an injection and it keeps your body, bottom line, in a youthful state by keeping all of your genes turned on, like when you were young, keeping your telomeres at great lengths. And then also we got to clean up the waste products that accumulate, but perhaps if all your genes are always turned on, your body's more able to clean them up. There's other issues, but yeah, in the future, also I've talked about it before in a video on YouTube, but in the future we can have like, you could like choose what kind of genetic changes you want to do and insert them and modify your own DNA, but have it so they're only active when exposed to either another drug or a certain frequency. So perhaps in the future, you just go on your phone, which has a special emitter that can emit different frequencies, and those frequencies can cause a certain molecule, whether it's a small or molecule, medium, big, to change shape or something, which activates the DNA segment. And now your body reads out this custom DNA you put in yourself. And that DNA is activated just because you clicked a button on your phone. So perhaps you want like healing DNA turned on extra high. You just go like that. Say, I don't know what you might want, but you can just decide, I want this one. You just hold your phone near you and turns it on. And that's very, very,
So
very possible.
yeah, that it seems logical.
Amazing stuff. Because even right
Yeah,
now, there's been studies done. It's not perfect yet, but where so when a sperm goes into an egg, have you ever thought like how amazing it is that no matter what age you have a child at, that child starts off at age 0?
yeah.
Because I thought for a long time, how can I live forever? I always think about this on airplanes because you're sitting there, you've got all the time in the world, you're not doing anything. So I'm always thinking like, how can I live forever? And a few years ago, I thought, it's interesting. No matter how old you are when you have a kid, your kid comes out brand new. So there must
Yes.
be something in that process of having a kid that resets age. And it turns out, I found out that the egg cell, and other people have found this out before me, the egg cell secretes chemicals that reset the age of the DNA. And you can code those because they're amino acid based chemicals, and our body can produce amino acids. And other
Well,
ones.
generally, the main reason why anyone is dying from old age is because the body is sequenced to slowly down regulate or to slow down everything, like the cellular
That's why I take the
metabolism.
epitalon.
Yeah, but the problem is, why is it set like this?
Yeah, it's interesting. But I'm just
Because
gonna
obviously we don't have any point in, you know, like as I see it, when someone is getting older, they're also having accumulative damage on their tissues. So if you could just set it to younger age, does this mean that the body will automatically start recovering?
perhaps we'll have to see, because that is an issue. Like, even if you can keep yourself alive longer, you're going to accumulate mutations. And that's why I supplement with NMN to help power the enzymes that fix mutations, because not only do I want to keep my body alive younger, expressing things like in a younger state, but I do want to have reduced mutations. But I'll quickly finish up what I was saying about the egg cell. So you can make a DNA sequence that will create those chemicals that the egg cell secretes. You can inject that into you or expose yourself like to a virus that has it. And now you have that DNA sequence in your body, and you put a part on it. It's like an on and off switch where you have to take another medication to turn it on. And when it's turned on, you expose your cells to those egg cell chemicals, and it resets the age of your DNA, just like the egg cell resets the sperm cell's age. And it has been shown to work, but for some reason, the animals develop some issues and they do die.
What
But
issues?
so it's interesting, in the medical studies, the ones I read didn't say what those issues were, but recently one scientist alluded to gastrointestinal issues. But the medical studies have shown that the rats were in a very youthful state and did live longer. So
Wait a minute.
more.
Wait a minute. We are missing a huge component. So I know what it is. You realize that all of our bodies are not only our cells. We
Bacteria.
have, yes, but the amount of bacteria we have is much more than people think.
There's
When
more
people,
bacterial cells than human cells.
yeah, when people think about bacteria, they're thinking, oh, I have bacteria in my guts. But they don't realize that the total amount of bacteria in anyone's body is at least as much as one of their legs.
No, there are more bacteria than human. I didn't know that until
So,
like a year or two ago. It's amazing. We are not like just a human, or we literally have as many or more bacteria cells than human cells.
so we may resequence our cells to be younger, but what do the bacteria have to say about that?
I don't know, because I would think the bacteria could keep reproducing and living, but perhaps there are some issues that arise.
What else would make the mutations then the thing that is not being resequenced, because we're not resequencing our bacteria?
Well, there are some issues with this approach that I've thought of myself. I don't know if they've been addressed, but one issue is like you can't reset all of your cells age back to zero at the same time. Like, you need to, you don't want to be a blob of just age zero cells. You need to keep your human shape. Like, you can reset 1% of your cells, 2%, 5%. But if you reset all your cells to age zero, you would die. So who knows? Maybe there's something going on, like too many of them get reset in the GI system, and then they don't come back the way they should. Because another thing is, just because we reset the age of them does not mean they will turn into the cells that we want them to turn into. Because when we grow up, there is a sequence of chemical environments that our cells are exposed to. In a human body, there's no sequence of chemicals. We have one environment, and those cells are exposed to our current environment. When we're in the womb developing, not only does the mother's body secrete different chemicals at different times, but then our own body starts secreting different chemicals at different times. But right now, we do not.
So that means that when someone is being, if anyone is developing this kind of procedure, it should be made into a water tank filled with some type of fluid, and the person should have connection to his lungs, through a pipe giving oxygen. And, I don't know how long he will stay in, but I guess it would be like 12 hours maybe, or, something like that, not more. The point is that it has to, obviously, it has to be replicated the same environment as the womb.
Perhaps we could circumvent the requirement to be in fluid, but perhaps there could be advantages to get the dermal exposure also to these chemicals. But one way or another, we do need to simulate that chemical environment that the womb has and that our early body has. Just somehow.
Who thought the place that we're going out will be searching to get in back again? Who would have thought?
Now, what that is very important for with the womb idea is if we want to create new organs. I've thought about that a lot because maybe I can't keep this body perfect, but we can grow organs completely without a body so long as they're exposed to the proper chemical environment with the proper sequence of changes.
What if you're growing your own second liver while the other one is deteriorating?
What about it?
What if you're just developing your second liver when the other one is deteriorating, or it's already beyond the point of saving and it's just being removed, and you have already grown yourself a second one?
That's my plan. Like, I have some lung damage. I probably have some cardiovascular damage. I want to grow new organs for myself.
Yeah, which is a bit extra, expensive, I would guess.
That's what it comes down to. Like, I want to work as a doctor and a scientist, but at the end of the day, I know I need to make a lot of money if I want to be able to do my own stuff that I want to do.
Okay, now we're getting in the next part of the rant of the machines. I'll be talking a bit about how purpose and how to reinforce your actions. The question is, why would it be so important for the world, you to have money to be a scientist in a high-tech lab? Like, if you can figure out how and which people, or like, what, if you can imagine what is your end goal, like the more people you can help, the more the universe will have incentive to be behind you and to help you get those money. Because people think that everything is happening just on normal conscious level, but many of the things are manifesting with subconscious habits. So my question to you is, how deep can you go about explaining why is this so important for you?
Well, there's a lot of issues with it, actually. If people can live a very long time, in fact, I don't believe that most people can. I mean, of course, they can, but I do believe it would lead to global catastrophe if everybody were to start living a very long time. However, there's one important exception of people that should live a very long time. So currently, somebody grows up at a certain age, you go to school, but at a certain age, you really start studying a particular something. You build your knowledge, and at a certain point, you grow old enough that you can no longer expand your knowledge, and then you die. If people can live much longer, what we can achieve as humans, imagine if Einstein or anyone that was a great scientist, instead of being scientifically productive for 50, 60, maybe 70 years, imagine if they were scientifically productive for 3 or 4 or 500 years. And the thing is, it's not like you just get how much they did, and now you get that much the next year, and then no, knowledge leads to this. If you get great scientists living way longer, you're not just going to see a steady increase of progress. You're going to see progress just skyrocket.
Exponential.
Yeah, the human race will be unrecognizable in a couple hundred years if we can bypass this limit. Because right now, somebody learns a lot of stuff and then they die, and someone else has to start learning from scratch. That wastes so much time, and it puts a cap on how much can be accomplished. Because you get someone that knows so much and they die, and yes, they can write books about it, but then someone else has to spend lots of time and work their way up and then try to surpass it. Imagine if we didn't have that, oh, this person gets to here, then the next person gets to here, next person gets, no, just.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't think that technology is something new. That's not the point. I really see what you mean. And okay,
And I
so
believe
the
that the human
overall,
race is hopefully going to colonize the entire universe, because we're at a very unique point in time where we happen to not get wiped out of existence long enough to be advanced enough to actually travel to other planets. So if we do travel to other planets, set up colonies, we can start colonizing the universe. Because who knows, maybe tomorrow an asteroid comes and wipes us all out. It's very rare that some species can survive to the point where they can actually spread through the universe.
yeah, it is a special situation. So you need money in order to help for the whole humankind to evolve.
Yeah, I have an interest in it for some reason.
Well, different people have different tasks in the world. Some people are trainers, some people are teachers, which is not exactly the best thing to be, in my opinion, because you have to teach someone something that someone told you to teach them. It's not something that you actually consider to be true to teach someone else, but everyone has their calling. And if they can connect it to making the human race evolve, I think they would have the most success in manifesting their future.
Yeah, it's a sad thing nowadays how so many people have gotten detached from improvement of the human race. Instead, they want to just see people enjoying themselves. Like, it's great to enjoy yourself, but at the end of the day, we want to improve.
I'm looking at my dad right now, and I realize that when I'm eating less often sweet stuff, I just enjoy them much more.
It's amazing. I had a Snickers bar today. Actually, I had two because I had to, and I was dieting hard lately, and I figured the best way to stop eating this stuff is by just eat it all today, and then I don't buy more. But it tasted so great. Like I probably hadn't had a Snickers in a couple of years. And yeah, it's really great when you don't have it often.
Yeah, so that's something that made me understand that we appreciate things when we don't get to big doses of them.
Yep, it really screws us up when we just have the awesome things every single day because they become mundane.
Yeah, when we say being fat is beautiful and being fat is not making you unhealthy, because why would a 300 or 400 500 pound man be unhealthy? Like, there's no reason
Yeah,
about
not
it.
even biologically, but as you're touching on, there's a lot of psychological issues with it as well. I'm still here and listening. My refrigerator's over here.
Okay. I think that it's good for today, the rant. We should just do a bit more, let's say, Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, and we could make more focused ones. Like I know today we got what I don't know if it's good or bad, but we talked about the stuff we talked about.
It was multidimensional.
And who knows? I mean, people might like it because people like, as you were saying, just real talk. Because nowadays everyone's so careful and like proper and everything.
Yeah, it almost doesn't seem natural.
It's not.
So I enjoy very, very natural things. It's like some moments you can't buy. You just have to experience them. You can't just make them happen.
No, the only reason why I'm not even a little more natural in our videos is because, well, I'm a very open and natural person in normal life. I do keep in mind that these videos are recorded and anyone can see them. And there are evil people out there who like to use things against you.
Like what? Talking about retarded guy with an
It's
erection.
crazy. Even just what we said today, I could probably get fired from a hospital. They can go, you called retarded people retarded. We can't have someone like you working at our hospital. It's true.
Well,
It's crazy.
at least I know that you're studying not to be hospital personnel then.
I will to a degree, but at the end of the day, like you realized, I need money if I want to do the scientific stuff I want to do.
Yeah, and being a doctor won't give you the money as fast. So I suggest you start investing in other places.
I'm looking into buying my first apartment soon, hopefully. Not that that's going to make me rich, but it's a start.
Yeah, it is a start. What you can do also is rent it out, but I'm not sure how good. I'm not sure how good is renting. That kind of business in Belarus.
Well, what I was thinking is it wouldn't be in the city I live in because it's the capital city and it's too expensive for me. But if in another city, say I could find a place for $20,000 and I could get $250 a month, that's a great return on my investment. It's like $3,000 a year, almost.
Yeah, and if you keep accumulating,
No, I
it
mean
will
it is
come a point
3,000.
where you'll just be financially independent.
So yeah, you get more than 10% return on your investment each year.
Yeah, I've heard from some people that the best way to make money with rental property is to rent out um, office places, not housing places, because housing for people that just want to live in them have too much issues with them. And when a company is managing a building, everything is much more cleaner, not from a hygiene standpoint, like
Organized.
the whole situation is much more cleaner than having to talk with rent people
I
that
get what
rent
you're
and
saying.
yeah.
In the future, I'm going to try to do that. Right now, I don't have enough money to buy an office building, but I might have enough money to buy a little apartment in a small city.
Yep.
Are you
For
looking at
now, that's the strategy.
any investments right now?
Well, I'm investing in cars for renovation and for selling, but let's see where it gets me because I don't know. When you're making money with friends, it's a kind of a double-edged sword. But I recommend people actually trust their friends.
Yeah, if you can't trust them, they're not really friends even, but yeah, money and friends can cause issues.
Yeah, typically I value allegiance much more than how much money someone has because if you can't just rely on that person, it doesn't matter how much money he has or what.
Worthless.
Yeah, it's just like someone who is constantly like who is a very nice man that can't stop fucking around and finally find himself a good wife. He just constantly wants to fuck around all his life, you know?
You know what's really interesting about what you've said is for a lot of my life, well, I've always valued like allegiance and trust and reliability. And I've always been that reliable, um, loyal person. And like something that I've always looked for in people, but really have not found is other people who are reliable and trustworthy and loyal. Looks like my wife might be the only friend I have found like that. But it's sad how rare it is.
This is the real problem with masculinity. It's not if someone is going to have sex with a man or a woman. It's the problem that people don't have the old school worth, the old school, uh, like friendship laws. They don't understand that friendship has to be really old school. Like if a friend is writing you, if you can't write him for some reason or can't help him, just write him. I'm somewhere, can speak now. You don't leave them hanging out for 3 days and then you come back, you write them, hey, what's up? I'm ready now. So that
And like if your friend says, "Hey, this happened, I need your help," if you can physically help them, you better go help them. Like that's what you do.
yeah, I'm not gonna have a problem with someone if they can't help me, but not responding at all, that's a bit strange to me, like it's showing that someone doesn't care, and that's not a good thing for me. Like who would want to have a relationship like this with someone?
You know what I found interesting and great is I did jujitsu class a long time ago for just like a month, and the coach was blind, but he told all the students like, if you're ever in trouble, like I'll come and I'll help you. Like if you've got a problem and people are like being violent towards you, call me and I'll still come and I'll help you. Like you don't find many people that actually will like make sure they are loyal with people and help them. And people just want to lay in their bed and go, oh,
Well, I really dislike helping people move out because I'm the first guy when anyone thinks about moving out to call. Like the guy who has muscles and strength, he is the first motherfucker that anyone is gonna call when they have to carry, let's say, a couch from the fourth floor down and then to the new house to the fourth floor again. So I dislike it, but I know that even if I dislike it, I have to do it because that's how friendship works.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, with unnatural status comes unnatural responsibility. I see.
Before we finish here, I want to add in that one time, and I don't think, well, I don't know if I could do it now. Like, probably could, but I would mess up my back. But when I was like, I don't know, 18 or 17, I carried, I think it was a refrigerator myself, like a full-size big one, up a flight of stairs. Pretty cool.
And you were even lighter, huh?
Oh yeah, I was like 150 something, like 152 pounds.
That's what, 65 kilos or 70 kilos. Anyway,
Yeah, I used to be crazy strong when I was young. Like even when I was just like 145 pounds, we had this extra, like the double wide ice chest, and it was full of ice and drinks and food. And so I don't know if you know what ice chests in the United States are like, but they're like this wide, like this tall, and a normal one, well, a normal big one is like this. So this was like a double long one. And originally, me and someone else were going uphill. We tried carrying it one arm on each side, and it was like really heavy and like annoying to carry. And eventually, I just thought, screw this. I'm going to see if I can just carry it myself. And I put it on my shoulder. I'm like 140 something pounds, and I carried it on my shoulder up a hill for like, I don't know, but a decent
so
while.
this is like a bathtub full with ice and food.
Yeah.
I see.
What's funny is there were some police along the way. I remember they were looking at me like, we don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah, like I hope he never does anything illegal. Yeah.
Good memories.
Well, it has been a nice podcast, and we ranted about many things, but it's time to end.